Welcome back to the Millionaire by Morning podcast. To all of you people that's out there listening, please turn this conversation up. We have with us a special guest today, John Graham Harper. He is the CEO and founder of Lumaflex, a cutting edge wellness technology company that designs and manufactures portable, flexible, and waterproof red and near infrared light therapy devices. With a background as a competitive athlete, John experienced multiple injuries, including a brain tumor, which led him to explore and eventually champion the healing potential of red light therapy, also known as RLT. His personal journey from recovery to innovation drove him to create Lumaflex with the mission of making RLT accessible to everyone for enhanced recovery, performance, and overall well-being. This is about to be a great conversation. John, welcome to the Millionaire by Morning podcast.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time to share. You've obviously built up a good rapport, lots of trust with your audience, and yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to share my story, share about light therapy. So I'm very much thankful for that.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being on the show today. Um, Especially you will, I know you will hit a home run with this crowd, with these demographics. We're getting into a point to where, you've been working for years and years, not just athletes, athletes somewhat get, hurt or sustain injury early in life, but now we're moving into old bones and other type of injuries. So that's why I say this will be a great conversation. If you are an athlete or was a competitive athlete, end up hurting yourself, can you take us back to the time where you figured that you needed a little bit more therapy or assistance than that you were getting?
Yeah, I think back in the day when I was competing, I was very aggressive to my to to myself physically. I think it's when you're young as an athlete, there's an idea of like pushing through your pain, you know, like David Goggins, right? You want to David Goggins it, it kind of stay hard. Um, but this is obviously something that really catches up to you later in life. And I had my sport was rugby for quite some time, and I injured both my shoulders and my left knee, which took me out of rugby, and that's when I went into amateur boxing. And I remember just like going to the gym, and boxing around, and then just sort of having this idea like I would be a heavyweight champion or something, like very, very ego driven, sort of a real yes man, like, yeah, I can do it, I can do it. But after about 4 years fighting in amateurs, I started to get really severe headaches. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, actually pushed me to go do a full scan, a full checkup. And they found a tumor in my head, which I was told was caused by trauma to the brain, just repeated impacts to the brain. So I'm not very conditioned for impact sports. So that was a bit of a life-changing moment, where you hear that from a doctor, and it sort of really reformatted the way that I think, the way that I go through life, tried to take more of a collected, processed approach, and got into medical, got very excited about red light therapy and all the amazing benefits it can do for the human body. And then wanted to make my own device because my wife was actually the one pushing me to use red light therapy for my injuries, but she had this lamp that she bought, which was kind of a cumbersome, hard to use device. It was very effective, but it wasn't very sort of versatile. It wasn't very user friendly. And this sort of lamp, these sort of lamps, you can find them in some clinics, in different, like a physio or a chiropractor. Maybe sometimes they have it in their facility, and they put this treatment on you. And the lamp is like, it's a really large red bulb, and the bulb gets very hot. So you aim it at that area, you aim it at the pain. And my wife told me to do 20 minutes, targeted before bed every night. And where the aha moment came was my left knee. The left knee was sort of the longest injury I had. for years. It was just something that was always bugging me, and it was something that I thought, like, in my later years, I'm now 40, and I thought, like, just like my dad and mom, they always are complaining about these aches and pains that they got when they were in their younger years. I just sort of thought that it'll be something I always have to deal with. But I remember doing a week of aiming this lamp on my left knee, and after a week, I didn't have this pain. And I used to get this pain from just sitting in a seated position. If I had my knee at a 45-degree angle, it would start to swell up. It would start to get really painful. And I would have to, if I was, driving, I have to stop the car and stretch my knee. I had this deep heat cream that you can buy it like at Walgreens, and I would massage my knee to sort of, drive circulation to the joint and get it to stop being so painful. But after a week of using the device, I didn't have that pain. It just seemed like it disappeared. And then after another week, I didn't need the device anymore for my knee. Like I stopped using it for that injury. And it got me really excited and interested into exploring what light therapy was. But if I'm honest, it was actually more of, trying to figure out if it was a way that I could hack, being a competitive athlete. I could hack it for injury recovery and training recovery. And that was sort of the initial idea, thinking like, oh, I've got this little bit, I've got this nice little biohack that I could do for my training. But the idea evolved more into creating a device that I felt was more suited to someone like me that was moving around a lot, where we didn't have to go to a certain place or a certain area in your house to get treatment. You can bring the device to where you are. You can have it wherever you're having your treatment. If do you know there's this gun, the massage gun that
Yeah.
kind of has exploded. It's this, and Therabody, this company that built this massage gun, they wanted to mainstream massage therapy, allow anybody to access massage therapy anytime, anywhere, on the go, put it in your bag, take it with you, when you travel or when you're out at your office or whatever. And I really liked that idea of mainstreaming a treatment and allowing everybody to access it rather than having to go to a massage therapist, right? Or to, have your family or your friend do it at home, right? You could just do it yourself. And I wanted to look at sort of do that as well for light therapy, create sort of the device that can be mainstreamed and go anywhere. And the device that I'm in a hotel now, and it's something I always travel with. I travel with a few of them, but this is it here, the Body Pro. This is the one that we are most known for. And this one in particular, this you can see it's very flexible, right? Luma meaning light, flex as in flexible, right? So this can contour to different joints, different areas of your body. You can mold it to your elbow, your shoulder, right, your knee, and then you can get that localized treatment, get that light therapy, in the area that you need it. And it's a simple, press on, press off. It's very, very easy to use. But this is the device that we launched with, and I've actually this particular device is IP67. So this is a rating that you get when the device is waterproof. And I wanted to make the device suited for military use. That was sort of that was like the North Star. I had a friend of mine, Levi Webb, who was a sniper in the military many years ago, and he had a bad back from a gun that fell on his back, and he was dealing with this back pain for so many years. And being such a close friend, I had this idea of like, what if I could create a device that could go into those, that rough terrain? You could put it in the mud and the snow, it wouldn't break. And that's kind of the evolution of the Body Pro device and the first one, and the one sort of still our flagship product. But yeah, I created other models later on, and but yeah, that was about 3 years in the product development phase, and then now we are 2.5 years launched. So yeah, it's been really fulfilling, because obviously when you're creating a medical device and you're looking to support pain and you're looking to provide a solution that's natural, that's completely non pervasive. People need this, and they benefit from it. There's a pain epidemic, in not just in America but in the whole world. And it's very fulfilling to have a lot of people's lives changed. And I got this message from a lady. I was flying from Chicago to Miami, and a lady, was sitting next to me in the plane, and I had it with me on the plane. Um, and she was like, "What's this? What is this red light?" And so we talked the whole flight, and then she ended up buying one for her sister who had this very severe condition. And then she emailed me, and she was like, "It's a miracle that I met you, John." And it's really touching, right? When you hear that, and you hear, how you can impact people. And it's not a drug, right? You're not ingesting anything. It's light. It's actually from the sun, right? It's light therapy. So it's very, very natural, and something that I'm very passionate to share and make sure everyone understands and learns about it, because it's really the ultimate hack to your health is what light therapy is, right? It's amazing. Mm.
Sounds like it, man. Sounds like it's not just an amazing product, but the fact that you get to be that person that's healing people and helping people out with pain. Man,
Yes.
pain is one of the worst parts of life. Can be, so yeah, man, that's an amazing feat. Let me ask you this. What did you, if you had to deal with any, what were some of the complications on getting started, getting going, you know, that most entrepreneurs deal with?
I remember being asked this similar question at some conference not too long ago, and I kind of see myself more as not so much an entrepreneur, um, but I guess that the word entrepreneur has kind of evolved now into a visionary. And I think it's when you have like this sickness. It's like a sickness, it's like a virus, and you basically want to build something, you want to create something that impacts the world in a positive way. And you kind of can't really shake this feeling. You can't sort of suppress it and do a normal 9 to 5 job, because you have this itch. It's like an itch, and it's like a calling where you're like, I want to do something, and I want to do something big. I want to change the world in some way. And and I can't like not do it. Like my whole body, my spirit, my mental state is not going to let me not do that. And when you have this itch, when you have this sort of feeling, it it comes with a lot of grit. It comes with a lot of perseverance. I would say there's a lot of low times, but you can get through the low times because you have this bigger vision, a bigger sort of calling that you're striving for, and you kind of are able to focus on that. And it's for me, I felt like I was born with it, because since a very young age, I was like out. I remember being a young kid knocking on doors and saying like, I'll do gardening for you if you pay me some bucks. Like I was always looking for something to do, like something that was my own thing. That I was, I didn't really want to follow that route, that is very common, where you apply for jobs and everything, and you sort of climb the ladder in a company or something. It just didn't resonate with me. Not to say that that's a bad thing. It just didn't. It wasn't working with my particular DNA. Um, but there's like the other thing too is as you go through these trials and tribulations, these challenges of figuring out how you're going to make impact, you become very resilient to when storms hit, and when things slap you in the face. You get more and more resilient as you overcome them. And like if I even were to think back, like 2 months ago, even as short a time as 2 months ago, things that were of a concern in the company, that I was stressed about. I look back on it now, and I was like, oh, that was nothing. It's almost like, oh, I shouldn't have even, I shouldn't have lost any sleep on that. And then even going further back and further back, those problems which at the time felt really hard, it just doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Like I was like, I shouldn't have been worried. And I think if anybody is has this sort of burning desire to build something, to create, to make an impact, it's a process you'll go through, and you just sort of have to accept the challenges and then overcome them, and then rise above, and just simply know that, like, ahead of you it's going to get easier. Like, it's going to get easier to get through the challenges because you're conditioned for it. Does that make sense? Kind of
Yes, I get it. I get it. It's
yeah.
you kind of you answered a two-part question there. But yeah, man, things is as an entrepreneurial person, as a visionary, things just take a natural course where it seems like it did get hard, but like you say, you may have needed to learn a lesson here so you can overcome a lesson further on down the line,
Yes,
and
that's
those
right.
just naturally go together.
Yeah, yeah. It's just part of the process, right?
Part of the process. That's it. So do you do you have so now you have a different line. You have different products. With your products, is this just a situation to where a person buys the product, breaks it out of the box, and uses it, or is it maybe a training, a course, or something else, a type of framework that shows them exactly how they should be using it
Yeah, that's
attached?
that's a very good question. Because the medical light therapy, the medical term for it is photobiomodulation. So everyone that is involved in photobiomodulation, and those that are involved in creating a product and using a product for a specific outcome. For me, it's specifically for pain management. It's very, like, it's not quite well known. Not many people know what it is. It's a hot topic now. Like, lots of wellness gurus are raving about it. So it's getting a lot of interest. People are sort of poking and seeing, what is this all about? Areas like beauty, light therapy is very well established. Like the LED masks that you put on your face that are all over TikTok. That's all light therapy. It's the same like the same mechanisms that are happening in your body. But we all are trying to educate along with selling our product. You can't just we're not at the phase now where everyone gets it and they're like, oh, I know what this is all about, and you just push the features of the product. You have to educate, and then let the product come in after. And I got very, very hot wired onto this, and I've got a scientist on my team, a gentleman by the name of Peter Forhan, and I think he's one of the smartest people I've ever met in my whole life. He's written a book about light. He's a real credit to have him with us. And he built together. We designed a full course that we feature on our site. And the course goes. We have the foundations course where you're like the zero to hero course about how you can learn about light therapy. So if you don't know, like, what is this product? What does it do? What's light therapy? What does this mean? The course is a very easy way to fully understand it. And then we have different courses, like for practitioners. We have a course for veterinarians, for pet health, for equine care, because red light therapy and equine health that's a very big space. And actually, just today, very exciting milestone just happened, because the course I wanted this year, starting in 2026, I wanted to take this course to the next level and get it fully accredited. With this accreditation, that means that if a trainer does this course, that course, it counts to credits. So we have ACE accreditation, we have NASM accreditation, and then we're getting another accreditation from the California Chiropractic Association. So this, I literally got the notification from ACE. It's the American Council on Exercise, and this is an education body that trainers go and get certifications, or therapists, or nurses. They get their certification from ACE. And I just got the notice from ACE that our course was fully accredited. So we are it's kind of now with this education that we're pushing out, we're now going into accredited education where we can go into any gym environment, any wellness clinic, even hospitals. We can give this course and we can train people the full understanding in the science behind light therapy, and then of course how to effectively use the product. But if you buy any product on our site, you automatically get the education on the site, and you get access to the academy. And it's all done in video format, like video workshop style format, so that it's very easy to digest, and you can learn it like over time. You can come back to it, and yeah, it's very fulfilling to see sort of the evolution of the company with the products, and then stepping now in and becoming an education company, and really achieving a very very first class standard of accredited education. So yeah, I'm very happy you brought that up, because yeah, that was a big win for us today. Mhm.
That sounds like a big win and happened today. That's a perfect way to start off 2026.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, where do people find you? Your
Oh, it's
website.
very, yeah,
Let's start
very
with your
easy.
website.
Yeah, lumaflex.com. So Lumaflex, Luma meaning light, flex as in flexibility. And for me personally, I think the easiest is Instagram at John Graham Fitness, all lowercase. And it's anybody listening who wants to deep dive into what light therapy is. If you reach out to me on Instagram, I will give you free access to the education, because the education really is something that's so important to, if you're in, it's education that's very well packaged. So when you listen to the videos, and when Peter explains it, my scientist, it's something that you can easily go and talk to about your friends or your family. It's a very it's information that can be passed on. I sort of my whole understand, at least my personal view of intelligence, and the definition of intelligence, is when you are able to package wisdom, right, and package knowledge, and so that it can be transferred and passed down the line. So that was sort of the goal in mind with the education, to allow it to be so easily understood that you could immediately go and tell your friends and family about it, and get them excited about it. So yeah, anybody listening, just hit me up on Instagram and I'll give you free access to the education. We're distributed now in 19 countries outside of the US. We have 11 design and innovation awards. So for the actual product itself, I've got more awards for Lumaflex than any other red light therapy company in the whole world since ever. We're GSA approved, so we're actually a device that we sell to the military, and now we are ACE approved. So the education is stamped with with credibility of ACE, the American Council of Exercise, which is, yeah, it's really exciting.
That's huge, man. That really is. Yeah, to anyone out there, I just the accolades. I just didn't get a chance to touch on those, but Lumaflex has won multiple prestigious awards, including Time Magazine's Best Invention of 2023 and the Fast Company Innovation by Design Award. And those are two very familiar um, productions that I follow. I know for sure, and well known. So, John, man, I want to thank you for coming on today. You are doing the world a service, and being here on the Millionaire by Morning podcast, I would like to say that it's a pleasure to have you here. Anyone that's putting, man, ambition and like you say, a lot of us have this a lot of us have this reinvention about ourselves to where it's not about um, maybe not even money or prestige or anything. It's just about leaving a legacy, helping other people, and then when you describe, you get that particular feeling or you get that itch, and it's an itch you have to scratch, and hopefully it's an itch most people have to help others. So thanks again,
Yes.
man, for being on.
Yes, that's right. You kind of when you're in a group of people, there's certain people that they visualize success in that way of impacting the world and helping others because they get a lot of fulfillment for it. And when you're in that sort of group, you identify other people that are in that have that same sort of goal and mission. And yeah, it's very nice. You don't really, like you said, you don't really care about money or buying trinkets or toys or anything like that. It's not really fulfilling the itch. And but yeah, it's very rewarding when you're helping someone, when you're helping people and you're doing something that you truly believe in and you're passionate about. It's extremely fulfilling. Yeah.
That's right, man. Do you have anything you would like to leave with us, or any up and coming entrepreneurs, or anyone that you just like to leave a message with?
Yeah, I mean, for entrepreneurs, for anybody, if you feel you have this itch, it's enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But the fun part is that it's hard. The fun part, you get addicted to the challenges. The challenges become something that you get very into because you know that you're sort of in that process. You're doing something great, right? And then anybody interested in light therapy, and if you really want to have a quick, a sort of info on it, just go to YouTube and type in, what is light therapy, and just watch some videos. It's amazing. Like we're talking, like I have access to a clinical database with all the research papers on red light therapy. And most people in photobiomodulation have access to this link to where all the clinical research is being stored. But we're at about like 9,000 studies. And that's now 9,000 studies, studies on autism, on Parkinson's disease, on dementia, like there's, pain management, eye health, even like dealing with symptoms of chemotherapy. There's such an array of studies now that really support and give a lot of give a lot of encouragement to the use of light therapy for the human condition. And it's very something that I get very, very excited about. Like I was reading a paper today about Alzheimer's, and it's like a meta-analysis of all these different clinical papers. And it's when you read it, you're just like, why isn't this talked about more? Why aren't doctors raving about this more? Why we stuck to medication? Why we stuck to these old sort of practices of going to the hospital and taking drugs and doing things that, when everything's available to us from the sun, and there's specific nanometers of light, specific wavelengths, and if you put them into an LED and you have a correct dosage and you're using it in the right protocol, you potentially can cure, a condition like Alzheimer's. Like, wow,
Wow,
that's hell of exciting, right?
that's huge, man. Seriously, but also, you know, with you being in the field, you're up against a really huge giant, which happens
Yes.
to be Western medicine.
Yeah, pharmaceuticals. Yeah.
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 So, that's a whole nother topic, John. We won't even touch on that because I'm pretty sure that can get deep.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So thank you for coming on the show today. To anyone out there that's interested, dealing in pain, or just want more information, make sure that you follow John Graham Fitness at Instagram. Lumaflex.com is the website. And just give him a follow. We all need this information. Again, we don't want to be hopped up on medicines. We kind of somewhat got to go against the pharmaceutical company because there are natural remedies out there. So let's explore them.
Yes, sir. That's it. Thank
John, thank
you.
you for being on today, man. It was a pleasure.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye now to everyone out there. Continue to make moves, make money, and make meaningful memories. Until next time, that's a wrap.
Take care.